Lay down.
Every athlete has hope to succeed. To conquer. To win. It comes from within. From the heart, the mind, the soul. It's what we see when we close our eyes. But what we see when we open our eyes is just as important. What we see are our families, their love, their joy, their dreams for us. What we see are the crowds, their cheers, their cries, their passion. We see it all through the lights, through the distance, all the blood, sweat, and tears in our eyes. What we see is you, here, for our moment. And that means everything to me.
Good evening, everyone. I want to thank you all for joining us tonight for our Coaches Webinar series. And give me just a second while I transition over to our PowerPoint. And I'm only working with 2 screens and I'm used to having 3. Okay, there we go. I think everybody can see that. Casey, can you see that? Okay, awesome.
Yes, I can.
Awesome. Okay. Happy Wednesday, everybody. I really do appreciate y'all giving up some time on this Wednesday evening to join us for this training. I'm very excited about this swimming training that we have. And I would like to thank Casey Brown for hosting this training and preparing for this training for us. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Casey. Casey is been involved with Special Olympics for over 13 years in various positions. One of the things she left off on her bio is that she is the coach of the Water Dragons in Area 5. And I don't even know how long she's been doing that, but she's done a great job building that program there in Central Arkansas for us. And she dedicates a lot of time for that. She was the assistant coach in 2018 USA Games for Special Olympics Arkansas, and she will be the head coach, or is the head coach for 2022 USA Games Team Arkansas for our team heading to Orlando, Florida. So I'm going to turn it over to Casey. But again, thank you so much for joining us. And you are unmuted and off you go.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I am obsessed with Special Olympics swimming. It really is I tell people it's what makes my heart beat. It's just my very favorite. I was the head coach at the Arkansas School for the Deaf for many years, starting in 2009, and we competed in all sorts of different sports, traveled all over, but swimming has always been my first love. And there was a group of 4 athletes, I think it was around 6 years ago, and the athletes and their parents went to the state office and said, can you put out a call for a swim coach? And the state office asked around, and I not only volunteered, just like threw myself at their mercy, just please let me do this. And so we started the Area 5 Water Dragons. I do believe it was 6 years ago with those 4 athletes. And at the height of our program before COVID hit, we had 35 team members. Now we average around, we probably have around 20, usually have 12 to 15 at our practices on Saturday mornings. So I love being a swim coach. I'm a teacher and administrator at the Arkansas School for the Deaf, but one of my part-time jobs really since I was 16 was lifeguarding and teaching swim lessons. And so about 6 years ago, I started a part-time job at Safety Before Skill Swim School here in Little Rock. Coach Karen Lamoureux owns and runs that program. It is a fantastic learn to swim program that we really focus on swimmers with, most of our lessons are one-on-one, but we really focus on swimming with special needs and autism. Probably many of you know that people with autism are like 7 times more likely to die from drowning than any other cause of death. It's a very real safety hazard. And so we really want to teach people swimming and swim safety and water safety. So that's a big part of what I do. I'm going to spend the majority of the time tonight talking about what a swim practice looks like for us, and then what a swim workout looks like. I've kind of looked at who's here. Coach Angela is here. Her daughter Tina is one of our water dragons. They joined early on, and Coach Angela is so faithful to always be there. Her daughter Tina has Angelman syndrome, and that people with that disability are very drawn to the water. And so you may have swimmers with Angelman in your program. I also see Coach Phillip, who is the brother of Benjamin, who is on our water dragons. Benjamin is also on Team Arkansas for swimming, and I see Sierra, who is on Team Arkansas for swimming. So I'm going to run through kind of what a practice might look like if you were running a practice. We stretch in the water. One thing I will say to teach your athletes, nobody gets in the water without asking. So my athletes know when they get to the pool, they have to wait, and then they have to say, "Pool, please," or "Can I get in now?" They have to ask. We encourage the younger ones to ask the parent and the coach. So make that a practice. "Can I get in the pool, please?" If they're nonverbal, please have them copy you something. But once we get in, we stretch in the water. And so that's just some general stretching, necks, arm circles, warm up your wrists, do your core. We always end our stretching with head, shoulders, knees, and toes, which was made famous by Julie Grantham. So you head, shoulders, and then you're underwater doing knees and toes, and everybody laughs, and it's fun, and it's a good way to kind of get wet, being a little bit silly. And so that's our stretching. Okay, go down just a little bit, please. Okay, so this is for level ones, and mostly our learn to swim and developmental swimmers. They tend to be younger. My athletes start on the team at age 8, but my oldest swimmer is, I think he's 48 now. So we do have all ages. I have 2 practices on Saturday. The first hour is level ones. That's this practice that I'm going over with you now. And then level 2s and 3s practice the second hour, and it's a little more of a workout. So this is a good level 1 workout. I start off by asking them where we're going to go for a walk today. And so we start walking in the pool. So for example, we're going to go for a walk on the beach. And we're looking, and what do you see? I see a seashell, and there's some people with a beach umbrella. And, oh my goodness, I stretch it out obviously a little bit, but I see a crab. Let's jog. Let's try to. That crab's trying to bite our toes. Let's go. So we get a little faster, and then what do you see? And then, oh my gosh, they all see a shark. Oh, we have to run. Oh, crazy. And then, jump. There's a jellyfish down there, whatever. So we spend 2 to 3 minutes warming up like that with a silly story. You can start with blowing bubbles with your face down. We imagine if you had a plate of, what's your favorite food? Oh, it's chocolate sauce. Okay, good. So we're just going to put our face in the chocolate sauce. So their feet stay on the ground. They're just going to lean over and blow bubbles out. Always blow bubbles when you are underwater. That's a practice you need to start immediately. You can do your face down. You can put on top of your hand on top of your head. Now we're going to go down, get the top of our head wet. And then you can challenge them. Can you bounce your booty off the bottom? And a lot of athletes that are afraid will try that. That's funny. So we teach that rhythmic breathing, that idea of bobs from the very beginning, that when you're under, blow, 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 up, big breath, blow, 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 start your bobs. Work that from the very, very beginning. You can warm up with some jumping jacks. You can do your legs in different ways, out, forward and back, swinging your arms. We like doing TikToks where your whole body is out and you bounce on one foot and the other, and we sing hip hop, hooray, oh, hey. Some punches. You can do these underwater or up in the water, slow, medium, fast, or, you know, red light, yellow light, green light, or mild jalapeno, hot, 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 super hot, to get that going faster. Check it out. So our practices are about an hour long. So don't rush things. Spend a good, 10 to 15 minutes doing your warm up, getting your body used to the water, having some fun. You want this to be fun. And also, if the water feels cold at first, that's a good way. The best thing to do is get in and get moving. That will get you warm faster than anything. Like I've said, water safety is very, very important to us at Safety Before Skill and also at Special Olympics. So I spend time going over the safety rules at every practice. Our pool is 3 to 5 feet deep, so it does not have a deep end. And so the first time you get in, ever, there is no jumping, no diving. You get in the slow, correct way, feet first. They can practice using the stairs to get in and out, and then also using the side. And using the side, you teach elbow, elbow, tummy, knee. And this is where it's hard being virtual. Can't really show you that. But you get your elbows up, and then you pull yourself up onto your tummy on the side, and then one knee comes up on the side, and then you're able to pull yourself out. That's very important to teach in shallow water and in deep water. We talk about scoots. That's where you hang on the side using just your fingertips, and you can scoot, or we call it slides or Spider-Man, scoot down to the deep end and back up. The side is the safest place in the pool. Hold on to that pool wall, and even if it's 3 feet deep or 100 feet deep, you are safe holding on to the wall, and you can scoot to a ladder or to the shallow end. We go over the rules. You don't ever swim alone. I'm a skilled swimmer. I don't swim alone. Things can happen. It's just always never swim alone. You never dive in or jump in first. You have to check the depth first. Ask before getting in the pool. Ask a parent, ask a coach. If you're sick, if you've got bodily fluids, waterborne like diarrhea is one of the easily spread in the water, so don't swim. If you've had diarrhea recently, don't pee in the pool. You need to obey the lifeguard. Safety rules, we don't, you don't. Yeah, I think you guys know most of those. So then we may start with kicks. So grab the wall, get your feet out behind you and start kicking. What you want to look for in kicks, I'm going to try to use it's kind of hard to tell for arms. You do not want a bicycle kick. And that's how a lot of especially younger swimmers start. Their knees are bending and it looks like they're pedaling a bike. A good kick is knees are soft, but they don't really bend. If this is your ankle, this stays floppy and your hip stays floppy. And so you point your toes out back behind you, and it's called a flutter kick up on top of the water. And so if they are doing a bicycle kick, there's some things you can do. Checking my time here. Okay. To help them figure that out. But you do want to work on a good flutter kick. Okay, scroll down, please. A noodle or two noodles Our noodles are one of the best and least expensive tools that you can use to start with the swim practice. One noodle or two noodles under your arms will hold everybody up, even a tall, big guy, girl. One or two noodles under the arms will hold a swimmer up. So you can get them on their noodle, reach their hands out in front of them, feet back behind them, and let them kick. Do a couple up and down in the lanes when you're doing that. Try to get their face down and blowing bubbles. It may just be chin in at first and blowing bubbles. That's fine. But you always want to stretch arms out in front. If you tuck up, then you're more likely for your booty to drop. And so what you need to do is stay perpendicular by arms out front, feet back behind you. Noodles are a great way to get an athlete comfortable. You can also use a kickboard. They're fairly inexpensive as well. You hold the sides, and with the kickboard, you really want to encourage face down and blowing bubbles while you're doing this. You can kick on your front with that flutter kick. You can also kick on your back. Most kickboards have one end with a little notch under that, and we call that the smile. And so you hug the kickboard with that smile under your smile. And then with your head back, that kickboard is going to help hold you up. And you do that same flutter kick on your back. Again, you don't want your knees coming up too much. If you see those knees popping up, really try to discourage that. Floats are a great thing to work on with Learn to Swimmers. Just letting someone feel the buoyancy in the water and finding their center of gravity on their own is great. A mushroom float is just, you kind of are tucked up in a little ball, put your face in the water and just see what happens. And you'll kind of bob up and down in a ball, and then you can stand up. Jellyfish floats, you're going to have your arms and legs hanging down, face in the water, just droopy. Starfish floats, now you can start to get your arms up and your legs out wide. That's a front float. We called it dead man's float a lot when growing up, or I'll call it a big sleepy spider. Just get loose. When you are teaching back floats, you really want to make sure you have some trust with the athlete, and you start with the athlete's head on your shoulder. And so even if they're a full grown man, they can kneel down in front of me and put their head on my shoulder, so that I've got their head on my shoulder. I've got one hand underneath their back, one hand underneath their lower back, and I tell them just to relax. They want that head back, belly button high to the sky, and relax. Ears in the water. Then as they get more and more comfortable, you can get the shoulder off your head to out front. Then you can start removing that bottom hand after a while. One of the last things we do is just put support under their chin with one hand. Doesn't do anything, but just let them psychologically know that you're still there and keeping them. Go to a back float. When you need to stand up, Coach Cindy was great about teaching us this. Look at your belly button. Look at your belly button. And then that starts to curl you forward. You put your feet down underneath you. Now stand up. Then we start on rolls. And so that's a front float, roll to a back float, roll to a front float. I should say these are all skills that we want to work on in a developmental swimmer. We don't work on all of these skills at every single practice. So it's not like you have to get through all of these in a practice. It just kind of shows you the progression of how to learn. Streamline position is one of the most important things after that breathing that swimmers need to learn. Streamline position is one hand on top of the other. You can call it pancake hands. Here's my hand, there's my syrup. This hand sticks to it. Then you're straight up, stretched, your ears glued to your arms, and your face is looking down at the bottom of the pool. This is streamline, not this. A lot of times they want to keep their head out of the water. And so then we move to glide starts or rocket starts. In a swim meet, the command is swimmers take your mark, go. There's no ready, set. It's a 2 command. Take your mark, go. So practice that from the very beginning. Start with one hand on the wall, one hand out in front. Take your mark, go. Then they're going to take their big breath, get in streamline position, push off the wall with both feet underwater. Doing that through a hula hoop is super fun and can really encourage, keeping that head down. Then you notice at this point, we haven't started strokes yet. You want to build all of these things first, all of those floats and rolls and glides and comfortable in the face and kicking. Now we can start our big arms. That's what front crawl is, freestyle, what most of you know about swimming. You want to slice in the water and pull, don't slap it. Another thing that we do is side glides. I wish we were in the water to show this. Just guys know that anytime if you ever want to come down to a practice and observe, please do. If you want me to come to you, I would love to do that because some of these are hard to show you. But side glides is where you glue one ear to your arm and you're in the water, laying on your side. This ear is in the water, this arm is in the water, and then you're kicking. And so that's an important way to start that rotary breathing that we do. So you may swim, roll to a side glide, swim down on the front, roll to this side glide. Then you can start doing that on your back as well. Then you can start adding arms into pulling. So that's how we start teaching rotary breathing. We swim 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we are rolling in a side glide. Get a breath, and now back. 1, 2, 3, 4, roll to a side glide. Changing direction in the deep end is a good skill to teach, especially your fearful swimmers. Get down in the deep end, scoot down on the wall like we talked about. If you tilt your head back and slowly let go of the wall, you'll be in a back float. And then you're going to do, instead of panicking, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? You act like you're getting out of the float. Look at your belly button. Look, 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 look. Pull your feet back underneath, and now your feet are behind you and you're on your tummy. And we always reach out like Superman. And then you
Casey, I think she just got kicked off the call. She's trying to get back on. Hold on just a second for the technical difficulty, guys. Sorry. There she is.
Am I back?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, good. Philip and Angela, I was about to put you on the spot. Um, uh, we were talking about dives. Make sure you don't dive unless it's at least 6 feet. You can teach a progression from a seated dive, a kneeling dive, and then a standing dive. You get in that streamlined position, head down, head down, head down, glue your chin to your chest, push off with your feet. And then underwater swims just for fun. One word about that is you probably have athletes with some sensory processing disorders. Some of them are sensory seekers and some of them are sensory avoiders. Both can love the water and love being underwater. So for your sensory avoiders, being underwater feels fantastic because the water pressure is equalized everywhere. It's quiet, the sound is muffled, the lights underneath the water kind of glint and dance, and they're beautiful. Nobody's around you. It feels fantastic. For your water or for your sensory seekers, jumping into the water, breaking the surface tension above and below, pushing off the bottom, big splashes, those all feel great to a sensory seeker. So that's part of why they love being in the pool so much. Okay, go down just a little bit more, please. So a typical practice for us is we work on those skills, and about every 10 to 15 minutes, we take one of these little brain or body breaks. So we may work on floats for a while, and then we'll pick a body break, and then we may work on kickboard kicking, and then we take a brain or body break. So that keeps the practice fun, especially for youngers. It allows your team to get to know each other. We play water soccer. You can throw out floaty toys, order things off of Amazon, rubber ducks, little bathtub toys, throw them out all over the pool, and they have to go collect the trash and bring it back to you. You can hit a beach ball up into the air. You can play games like red light, green light. Everybody likes diving for rings. We do a lot of relay races. Swimming through the hula hoops, popping up and down out of hula hoops is fun. Okay, go down a little bit. Duck, duck, goose is fun in the water. Marco Polo is fun in the water. Just be aware that one time we were playing and I was it, and almost every athlete in the pool was nonverbal. And so they got me good. We'll dance some, play, like freeze tag when the music stops, stop, freeze. And because we are Special Olympics, we always want to talk about healthy habits. So we talk about the Fit 5 bottles of water a day, 5 fruits and vegetables, exercise 5 times a week. When you go outside, wear sunscreen, brush your teeth twice a day at least, wash your hands often, sleep well, things like that. So, are you readjusting on the couch? Always, always, always encourage your athletes to bring a bottle of water to sip on during the practice, because an hour-long practice, you're in the pool, you are sweating, you just don't realize it. It's super easy to get dehydrated in the pool. So really encourage that water drinking while you're there. I'm going to stop right now and ask, does anybody have any questions?
If you have any questions, you can put it in the chat box or the Q&A box, either one, and we can filter through those throughout the training. And I think Casey might have froze up again, which means, Philip, I might call on you. You thought we were kidding. Yes, Monica, we will get you a copy of the information that is shown. Philip, I think the next thing she was going to go over is the swim workouts and the swim drills. So I've got that pulled up and I will let you start walking through that until she gets back.
All right. Hello, everyone.
This is Philip
actually,
Krausnitzer.
hello. And this is actually one of the areas that I'm more comfortable as a coach with. Oh, and Coach Casey just got back on. So I will let her finish this.
I'm just going to let you stay on as a panelist just in case it happens again, though.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Switch to my phone. My laptop is telling me that everything needs to update, and I'm so sorry. I think that's why it's kicking me off. So I'm going to just go from here. I can't see myself because I'm on my phone, but I'm going to talk about some of these swim workouts and drills for more advanced swimmers.
Can you see it okay on your phone?
I can see it fine. I'm just taking deep breaths, trying not to panic here.
You're good. You're good.
So these are workouts more for once you've learned to swim, and so level 2s and level 3s. What we are working for in that practice, we still have fun in that second hour of practice with the more advanced swimmers, but it is more of a workout and improving your skill and technique. What we're working on is increasing the athlete's distance, how far and how long they can swim. We want to teach as much as possible all 4 strokes eventually. There are 4 competitive strokes: freestyle, backstroke, breaststroke, and butterfly. I can't butterfly to save my life, but I can coach it. So don't be afraid if you think, well, I can't do all of those things. You can still coach it even if you can't do it. There are ways to break that down and teach those skills. And then we also work on a lot of drills, which are little things to do to focus on one aspect of a technique that helps. Jennifer, let's go down a little bit. Let's go down on technique drills. Go to that next page. Okay, so most of your swimmers are going to start out with freestyle front crawl. And so these are some drills that you can work on to teach technique. You can work on kicking on your side. We talked about that with the side glides. Keep your head down and glue your ear to your shoulder. And you want one eye down or one goggle down in the water. You're going to kick a 25. That's down one length of the pool so that you go all the way down on one side. Then you switch to a kickboard or noodle to the other side and kick back. That really helps you work on your streamline and rotary breathing and keeping your head rotating instead of picking up and down. Okay, keep going down some. These are great fun drills to do. There is one that really helps where you swim freestyle with your hands in a fist. That means that the swimmer is really having to learn to pull with their whole arm, and that good, once your hand enters the water, you're pulling from your elbow down to your side. I have found that some of my swimmers, especially with Down syndrome, swim faster with their hands in fists. I think some of that is because if they have low tone and they're floppy, the fists actually help them pull that water better. So two of my swimmers, Alyssa and John or Brad, actually swim freestyle with fists, and that is fine. That's allowed. I'm gonna try to, I can't see myself, y'all. Am I still in picture?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so
You
tap
are.
or catch up is another great drill. You can use it with a kickboard or just your hands, but you're going to do an arm pull and then grab the kickboard again. Other arm pull, grab the kickboard. And so this really focuses them on working one arm at a time and your timing. A more advanced way to do that is touch. We work on this with Benjamin a lot, Philip's brother. He has to stroke and then actually touch his other hand with one hand. That gets you back to that streamlined position at the end of every stroke and really focuses on that. Fingertip drag is where you have a pull and your elbow comes up out of the water, and instead of reaching forward, you pull your elbow high in the air and you drag your fingertips through the water back out to a streamlined position. So pull, drag, pull, drag, and that forces a really high elbow and again, getting into that streamlined position. Chicken wings is a favorite at our practice. Get your thumbs in your armpits or arms in your armpits and you swim a freestyle using just your elbows. It is hard to do, and you can only go 4, 5, 6 strokes before you have to come up and take a breath, but that's really fun, works your heart rate out, gets those elbows up high. I don't think I've ever done heads up swim. Okay, keep going down. Let's look, let's see, are there backstroke drills? Nope, okay. Okay, so I'll just tell you for backstroke, what you want to teach is thumb comes up out of the water first. It touches your ear. Then your hand rotates so that the pinky goes in the water first. And then you pull down to the side. This is so hard to show you sitting on a couch. Many people think, in fact, I thought that your arm did a full rotation. It really doesn't. It comes up to your ear and then it comes down perpendicular to your leg. So you're saving your shoulders. But you want to keep your chin up, looking back, eyes straight up, thumb out, rotate, ear, pinky in, and then snap down to the side. Sometimes we do those drills where they work on just one arm at a time for a 25, and then they do the other arm, a 25 back down. Breaststroke is the breaststroke kick kind of looks like a frog kick. It is the easiest stroke to get disqualified for because there are so many wrong ways to do it. So you want to make sure. Yeah, I don't know that I can teach that on phone. Let me come to you and I will show you a good breaststroke and butterfly kicks. So, all right, Jen, go back up to the top and let's talk about distance a little bit. So if you are swimming a distance, one time from this end to that end is 25. And that is called a length. One length, 125. If you go down and back to where you started, that is a lap. And so it's important for you to decide how are you going to talk about things at your practice. Are you going to use length or are you going to use lap? Pick one and then stick with it. So if we're swimming a 100, we tend to say that's 4. It's 4 25s. So when you start working on distances, Benjamin swims probably, I think his mom said today, 1.9 miles a day almost when he practices, like tons and tons and tons of yards. You want to get.
Yeah, I can
ahead.
actually tell you, he's doing 2,800 yards in a day.
Yeah, so that's a lot of laps. You want to aim for your level 2 and 3 swimmers to get 1,500 to 2,000. They need to be tired and they need to stretch those lungs. And so swim 4 100 freestyles and do a 30-second rest in between each one and then go again. You may need to start for a minute between each set, then try to get it down. Longer distances, you're going to swim slower pace. If you're swimming a 25 or a 50, you need to kick it up and swim at a much faster pace. Kick pull swims are fantastic to use. You need a kickboard. You need, and this is where my Southern accent gets me in trouble, a pull buoy, and that is a PULLBUOY, pull buoy. And it looks kind of like almost like an infinity or a number 8, and it's foam and you squeeze it between your knees. And what that means is now you can't kick, you can only pull with your arms. So here's how a kick pull swim drill would work. I'm going to start at this end. I'm going to put my pull buoy on the side on the other end. So I'm going to start with a kick. I'm going to do my kickboard, face in the water, kick 25 meters. I then leave my kickboard there, put my pull buoy between my knees. Now I'm going to pull back 25. Now I'm going to leave my pull buoy on the side and I have nothing, and I'm going to do a swim, which is kicking and pulling at the same time. Now you're back on this end. That's where your kickboard is. Get your kickboard, kick, swap it for the pull buoy, put the pull buoy between your knees, pull with your arms, leave it down, and swim. So you can do 5 sets of kick pull swims for all 4 strokes, and that is a great workout. I'm trying to scroll up on my phone, Jen. Sorry. Go down just a little bit more, please, to IM drills. There you go. Swimming an IM. So an IM is an individual medley, and that is where one person swims all 4 strokes in one race. And so it's butterfly, backstroke, breaststroke, freestyle. And so your really advanced swimmers can practice swimming an IM of all 4 strokes. One of my swimmers with Down syndrome has not had that axio instability clearance, so she cannot butterfly. So she just substitutes a freestyle in if there's a stroke that they can't do. All right, Jen, let's go to the PowerPoint, and I'm going to kind of go over some of that stuff that's more about race and competitions. Here we go. Okay, so the basics for swimming. Our competitions usually start in February up through June. We have area meets earlier, and then we have state meets at summer games. My team practices and pretty much year round. We shut down for some of the school holidays, but we have an indoor heated pool, so we practice as much as we can and as much as COVID allows. I will say that chlorine and has been shown to kill the COVID virus. So especially if you can distance in the pool, you're pretty safe if you're following the COVID guidelines. Okay. So these are some of the events. Benjamin is texting me swim drills right now, Philip. Did you just get a text?
No, not yet. He must have just gotten done with Danny.
Oh, goodness. So the developmental swims are for your non-swimmers. You can do flotation swims, and you can swim with a noodle or 2 noodles underneath your arms. You can swim with a life jacket, a life vest. You can swim with a kickboard. That is a flotation device. There are aqua belts that can fasten around your waist that are actually used for like water aerobics and water jogging. That can be used as a flotation device. Floaties, arm floaties, are a big no-no. Just throw them away. You don't want them. You don't want to teach anybody with them. They are unsafe. It is much better to learn to swim in a properly fitted Coast Guard approved life jacket than floaties and even puddle jumpers. So stay away from those. Assisted swims are for our athletes that sometimes need a little encouragement in the water. It's not a ability level because the assistant cannot provide any sort of forward motion. You can't push them or pull them or anything like that. But I'm thinking of, I think I have 3 swimmers that like having an assistant in them, just because why do I want to swim to the other end? I'm in the pool. I'm just going to hang out here and bob and do flips in the water. That would be Christina. Or do floats in the water. That would be Brenna. Or do bob up and down. That would be Dominic. So we get an assistant with them, and they get in the water and, okay, let's go. We're going to swim to the other side. So those are developmental swim events, flotations or assisted. Then there are 25 for freestyle, 25 for backstroke. Those are developmental. And then once you get past that, you start doing 50s, 100s, 200s. We actually are doing a 500 at nationals at USA Games this June. So swimmers at state can be entered in 2 individual swims and 1 relay swim. And so that's fun to put together a relay. A relay can be all of 1 stroke. That's a freestyle relay. Every swimmer swims relay. Or you can swim a medley relay, which is where each swimmer swims a different stroke of those 4 strokes. Now, the order of a medley relay is different from an IM. In a medley relay, backstroke is first, breaststroke second, butterfly third, freestyle fourth. Those are very fun. To my knowledge, we have not opened up unified swimming in Arkansas yet. Some of my practices are unified practice because, especially if they have siblings, great, come swim and work out with us. That would be fantastic. But as of now, we have only ever done traditional swim meets in Arkansas. Next slide. So you want to wear a swimsuit when you swim. Female athletes need one piece. Male athletes need to wear like my athletes prefer jammers, which are, it's like the fitted briefs, but they're longer. They go down almost to your knees. No jean shorts, no cutoffs. There are, of course, because this is Special Olympics, if you need to make some modifications, you can. If you have a swimmer that struggles with incontinence or that sort of thing, you can wear swim briefs and a fitted like rash guard swim shirt, and that is perfectly fine for females. You just don't want anybody swimming in a t-shirt. It keeps you colder. It creates a lot of drag. You just don't swim in a t-shirt. Let's see. Goggles are highly encouraged. One thing to look out for is make sure that they are goggles and not a mask. A mask covers the nose and does not allow for the type of breathing that we want to teach and swim. So even when I'm teaching someone to swim, it is very, very, very rare that I would let somebody use a mask. They're going to need to learn with goggles from the very beginning. Okay, next slide. So, okay. As I've said before, you start a race with swimmers take your mark and then a go. And you want to have either a whistle or an air horn along with that go. And then you also want to drop your arm for anybody who is deaf or hard of hearing to be able to start the race as well. Okay, go to the next slide. Okay, I thought I had saved this. At Special Olympics Arkansas, we allow 3 different start positions. You can start in the water, you can start from the deck, or you can start up on the starting blocks. So in the water, the athlete is obviously in the water. They have one hand on the wall. They have 2 hands on the wall if they're starting backstroke, but the other strokes, they've got one hand on the wall and you just take off and push off the wall. A deck start is for a swimmer who can do a dive streamline start, but is not comfortable going off the blocks yet. That is allowed. And then if you are lucky to work in a place that has blocks, you can teach going off of the dive blocks for the other 3 for the 3 strokes. Backstroke starts in the water. Yeah, some just general disqualification rules. Feet cannot touch the ground. Like you cannot touch the bottom during a race. You cannot touch the ropes when you are in a race. You have to put the correct kick with the correct arm. So you can't swim breaststroke arms and a flutter kick. Another easy disqualification is you have to do a 2-hand touch on the wall for turns and finishes for breaststroke and butterfly. Okay, next slide. Okay, just keep going through that. I think we talked about that. We've talked about safety. You always want a lifeguard when you are practicing, and it is also great to have a water watcher, which is a parent or an older sibling who just kind of stands up on the deck and is constantly scanning. They're not on their phone. They're not chatting to other people. They're keeping their eyes out for trouble in the water. For our athletes with epilepsy or a history of seizures, they can wear a red sweatband in the water or a red band on their wrist And I always let the lifeguards know, keep an eye out for those athletes, especially if they're underwater, because they may not be underwater intentionally. I think we have like 30 seconds left. So does anybody have a specific question or comment that they'd like to make about swimming? And I don't think I can see the chat. So I think we're okay chat wise.
Thank you
Okay.
so much, Casey. You did a phenomenal job. I learned something tonight about swimming, and I feel like I've been to a lot of your swim practices. So
What did you learn, Jennifer?
I learned a lot about the strokes, actually. I mean, there's a lot that I've listened to over time, but usually I'm over there chatting with parents. So there's some of the things that I haven't even learned. And I feel like I've even been through some of Cindy's classes over the years. And so, but thank you so much. Monica, to answer your question, I've already talked to Nat about sending out the 2 documents that Casey went over. In the follow-up email that you will get tonight. So they are going to get that document in their follow-up email with their certificate of certification for tonight's training. I think my camera lens was closed. My bad. I just realized it. Again, thank you so much. Thank you guys for joining us on this training tonight. This was great. And you guys have a wonderful evening. And it was good to see everybody's name pop up. It was good to see you. Philip, thank you for being willing to jump on the training and step in when Casey got kicked off for a second. And everybody have a wonderful night. Bye.